Thanks for all you do, especially for the charities and for TSWG blessings to you as you travel. Thank you very much. I will. I always drive safe. I don't drive like that much of a maniac anymore. Because Mrs. Nerdrotic would be pissed even if I died. Blue-Eyed Scorpio 499. So glad I found you. Gave up on Collider a year ago. Didn't find a replacement. I'm very selective. I was a Game of Thrones fanboy, so found you and totally dig you. Thank you, Blue-Eyed Scorpio, and I remain a book fanboy. I do. It's going to take a little more alienating for me to, because I've spent so much time, and I still love the story. But George found another distraction. I guess he's going to be writing stories for Meow Wolf, which Meow Wolf is a great place. Don't get me wrong. I've been there. So I'm such a George fanboy that I made a pilgrimage to Santa Fe, New Mexico. Been there a couple times now. And plan to move there, not to be near him. That's a little weird. I just like the town a lot. It's very, it's more my speed now. So get the hell out of the big city with the poop on the streets. Mutated Genome for $25. Found your channel when your Captain Marvel videos started popping up in my recommendations before its release. I could tell you we're on the same wavelength. Been here ever since. Here's $25 for good causes. Cheers, Gary. Cheers to you, and thank you. Thank you for finding me. At least I was getting recommended by back then, because none of us are right now. Well, a couple of us still are, but right now the recommendations are very low, very low. And you can tell. And the big change happened right when the Veritas thing happened. But I think it also is summer. I remember I went through a spell like this last summer. So I figure when Watchmen comes out, things will change. I don't understand why we are getting a Night King prequel. We've already seen how he was created and how he was defeated. Disabled Llama for Australian $5. By the way, thank you for what you sent to the P.O. box. I agree. I don't understand. I don't care. This was a guy who was who was defeated by a girl flying out of nowhere with a knife. An assassin's blade. Ancient Porto Drago for Canadian $20. Have you seen the British show A Discovery of Witches? And what did you think? I saw the panel at Comic-Con last year, and it didn't move the needle for me. It didn't move the needle for me. It looked okay, but yeah, not my cup of tea. And then I lost track of it. It's on History Channel, I think. They showed some footage. I thought, it just wasn't for me. Sorry. Chris Persia, Canadian $40, to help you prove your point that fandom cares. Oh, we do. And you prove the point all the time. All the time. What you guys did for Anna, what you did for Megs. Let's not forget, you guys swooped in and helped Megs quite a bit. And, she found out, Meg's great Phantom Menace member with Snowdub, and she found out she needed brain surgery like within days. And she had to go right in, and you guys, got the GoFundMe going, and it was like, boom, And I know some friends of mine here in San Francisco who don't even know what a Phantom Menace is, don't even know what I do here now. They donated to the cause. So, you get the word out there. People want to help. They do. Pamela Lynn for $20 for everything Jon Snow was supposed to be. Great choices for charities. Thank you very much, Pamela. It's so frustrating, and I know I owe you guys a video of the vandalization of Jon Snow, because it's going to take time, because I got to, I'm going to probably end up spoiling a lot of the book, but I'll try to do it like when I used to try to pitch a comic book, when somebody's like, I don't know what to read, what should I read? And I would try to pitch a story without totally spoiling it, but being enticing enough to get them into it. I'll try to make the video like that. And it will be what Jon Snow has been doing in this book, and mostly in this book, what you missed and what they missed. and what they purposely missed because they didn't want Jon Snow to be the main focus, and he is, and I do believe that the ending was spoiled. I think that is what's going to happen at the end of Game of Thrones. If you really think about it, it makes sense, and it'll probably play out really well in the books if George ever finishes it, which he won't, because we'll have a book this big for Daenerys to go bad in, and then it'll make sense. And it'll probably start, you know, I'm sure, I'm surprised that, you know what else might be delaying George? I did a live stream on this a long time ago, but my theory on why George has been taking so long is because of everything has gone so woke. And he knows that once he becomes, you know, he can't, I don't think he feels free to write the way he did. He was already starting to get crap. Remember the crap that Game of Thrones got at the end of season 5. Now that season was bleak as hell. But you remember the Ramsay Sansa scene, but they didn't actually show anything. Remember the crap that they took for that. Well, dude, it's feudalistic times. This is Game of Thrones. Yeah, that crap happened, and it's going to happen again. And I don't think he feels as free as he did a few years ago to write whatever the hell he wants to write. So I think that plays into it big time. I think he's rethinking himself. I think a lot of creatives in Hollywood are rethinking themselves and self-editing. That's why we're getting so much garbage right now. Because no dude wants to write a woman with any complexity at all, because he'll be called sexist by the Mary Sue. Well, for one, every writer in Hollywood, if that's indeed the case, you should not give a crap what the Mary Sue thinks or I think or any, I mean, like, write freely. And you might find more people responding to it, but focus on story. So you know what they're relying on? Oh, I'm gonna get political because at least I'll keep the Mary Sues happy. And that's the thing, is as much as the access media has bent the knee to Disney bent the knee to them too, and so did CBS and the BBC. Man, they're on both knees. They're on their hands, their mouth open. That's sorry to be crude, but that's what they are right now, and it's making for crap entertainment. And there was a great article. I'll read it again later on Bounding into Comics yesterday, where John F. Trent, there's a couple of movie critics who call this crap out, and it's really nice to hear. One of, you know, we're not hearing enough of it, and unfortunately they're not going to listen to me, which is fine, but maybe they'll listen to some of their own. But it's way too late. People have stopped listening to it. But I'd love to be just talking about Game of Thrones and like what's within the books. Yeah, there's a bunch of chapters that are out there that are great, but if you're over it, I understand. Because the changes they made for Jon Snow to put him in the backseat were freaking ridiculous and stupid and unnecessary, and it just, I mean, it really played into why season 8 sucked so much. Freaking Hollywood. They don't understand. They just think we can shift focus, and they do it under the guise of we're getting different perspectives and different voices. Well, we always have, because we're individuals. You know, if I write a story, you know, like I wouldn't write, but like whatever I do on YouTube is not exactly like what Jeremy does. It's nothing near it. We might have the same opinions, but everything else is different. We are individuals. We don't all think in a block, you know. But look what's happening in Hollywood. Look at the ginger side that's happening in Hollywood. Think of the gingers. Disabled llama. Thank you very much. Yeah, and I don't know why we're getting a prequel, but that's it. We're gonna find the prequel is gonna be about the Starks, and we're gonna find out. Well, the thing is, they're gonna change the story, so we'll know the actual act of the Children of the Forest putting a piece of obsidian in somebody's chest and making a Night King just like that, which sounds really effing easy, and it'll be something else. And we'll find out he was a Stark. And mind you, there's no Night King in this. And I don't know if there's going to be a Night King. There's the Night's King, but that's deep in lore, deep in lore. Ancient, and thank you, Ancient Porto Drago. Thank you, Chris Persia, and thank you, Pamela. Felicio Bravo for $2. Oh wait, it just jumped like crazy on me. I'm so sorry. Hang on. That's my reverse light. There we go. Felicio Bravo for $2. Thank you for all you do. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. The growth over the last few months has been insane. A year ago at this time, I had 5,000 subscribers. So I am, and listen, if it all stops and I don't, get another one, I'm cool with what we have here. This is great. This is more than I ever expected. It's a fun job, and I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts. And I'm going to try to make the best of it. I'm going to try to get better. The channel will evolve. I'm going to try to do different things. I've really, there hasn't been much to review, so I'm going to take that time and start digging deeper and reviewing older stuff. I learn from other channels. I watch a lot of other channels, and there's some great ideas out there to steal, basically. No, you always want to, if you see a good idea, you try to do your own thing with it, but don't rip it off. That's not good. Sir Ruin of House Roundhead for $9.99. I unfortunately did not win Kevin Smith's contest. Aww. So I will not be seeing you at Comic-Con. Sorry. Ask Dan and Dave to apologize for Season 8 on Game of Thrones if you go to the panel, or shame them. I'm going to risk... I would, but honestly, I would risk getting kicked out of con to ask Kurtzman a question. Dan and Dave, the damage is done. The damage is done. But... Kurtzman, I want to ask a question. I really do. I'll make it as respectful as possible. And actually, that'll make it worse. I'm not going to throw any, I'm not going to cuss at him. Not going to call him any names. Not going to question his writing skills. I'm just going to ask him a couple of questions about the plot of Star Trek Discovery and where he came up with that idea. I'm sure he'll blame somebody else. Hoping Red Dwarf never goes woke. Cracklin for $4.99. I hope not either. I don't want anything to go woke. I don't want anything to go woke. I want things to be entertaining. And you can certainly have right-wing politics or left-wing politics in a book, and you can pass it right by somebody, and if you're a very talented writer, it won't knock them out of the story. They'll go, because it's usually within a narrative, but it's so clunky and bad nowadays. You can tell that, okay, I'm stopped writing the story right now. The next paragraph will be what I'm having some character play out my political fantasy right now. And then when that's done, we're going to continue the story. That's what it feels like. That's what it is. And it's playing out your political fantasy. Captain Marvel was the worst form of playing out the worst form of intersectional feminism fantasy, which has a ton of anger behind it. That movie has so much anger behind it. Modalicious, $10. Stan stated previously, Little Mermaid sucks. Daddy says no. She does anyway and gets the click. Daddy bails her out twice. She gets her way. No moral learned. It is the story of how MGTOW was right all along. I know the basic plot of Little Mermaid, Modalicious, and that's good. Thank you. I have not seen it, though. I have not seen A Little Mermaid. I will not see The Little Mermaid. I have not seen The Lion King, the animated version. I will not see The Lion King. When The Lion King came out, it was 1994, and that was a tricky time for me. So I wasn't really into Disney animated movies when I was 24 years old. I was into Pulp Fiction. I wasn't gonna go see. To me, that was a kids movie, and I didn't have kids at the time, so I was like, I'm not gonna go watch that. I was watching. I was going to shows and watching movies and working in a record store, working at the warehouse at the time. Josiah Rises for $5. Congrats on 100K, Gary. What's up, Josiah? Everybody subscribe to Josiah. He's a good white Christian male, and the white Christian male representation here, and part of Geeks and Gamers. Good dude. Go subscribe to his channel. Looking forward to meeting you someday, man. Coffee's on me. I can't wait to meet you either. Too bad you're not going to con, man. Can't you just jump in Jeremy's car? Where are you, Josiah? What's can you say, like, what state are you in? I have to ask you that. Jason Green for $5. Thank you again, Josiah. And he was on my live stream a couple weeks ago. Josiah's a good dude. Jason Green for $5. Have some charity money, if you could. Pass a note to Jeremy that Anna has a care package in her P.O. box. I will pass that on. I will pass that on. And again, I'm sure I'm not speaking out of line by saying that Anna thanks you for all your support, all the love, which completely outnumbers the ridiculous things I have heard. I mean, listen, there's typical online trolling. I am all for trolls. Trolls need to exist. They serve a purpose. They keep a lot of things honest, in my belief. I think they're funny sometimes. Goddamn Reddit, 4chan is devoted to them, and quite honestly, I think it changed the world a couple of years ago, and I think it creates great memes. I think there's a place for trolls. I don't hate them all, but you know what? The trolling is an art. It's an absolute art, and when it's done right, you're not just completely pissing somebody off. You're just irritating them, but if you can irritate them and at the same point make them laugh, then you are the perfect troll. You are good at your art. So all I can say is get better. Be better. Be the better troll. I don't want you to go away no way. I want trolls to exist. But, that's finding that sweet spot. I know it's hard. Not everybody can do it. And the thing is, you can't take any credit because you're a troll. You can't, you're anonymous. So there you go. Thank you, Jason Green and Josiah Rises. Here, I'm gonna pop Josiah's. I'm gonna go to the chat here. We're gonna get back to the super chats in a second. I want to go to the chat, but first I'm gonna pop in Josiah's channel right there. Give him a sub. Apex Troll. That's right. Eat goat. Eat goat. I don't eat. I have never tried goat. Probably tastes like chicken. I have no idea. The other white meat. The other white. Evidently, the Lion King is fascist. Jason Smoot. Yes, I did see Jeremy's video. I saw that article, and sure. Yeah. So is Star Wars, and you know what? Raiders of the Lost Ark, because there's Nazis in it. Oh, but Nazis were fascists, but they're National Socialists too. Just saying. Captain Mary Sue, what's up? Gary, don't worry, Gary. I only troll other channels. Good. That's good. I don't worry about trolls. They do not, they concern me not. Like I said, I get called 10 or 12 horrible things, every morning. It means nothing to me. It's okay. And actually, it's great. It's a great sign that your channel's doing something. It's when it dries up that it's bad. It's like, ooh, nobody told me they wanted to punch me today. Don't get all tricky and use facts. I'll KSS. I'll stop right now. I'll stop. A real troll will troll you before you realize you've been trolled. The Art of Troll. That's right. Somebody is that a book? I'm going to say somebody should write a book, but somebody probably already has, right? The Art of Trolling. And if it hasn't been written, well, it's got to be right up there with the Art of War. Carnitas. Darth Scipio. I cannot wait to have a carne asada burrito. I am 72 hours away from a San Diego carne asada burrito, and I can't wait to go home. I got to talk to Jeremy because I think we have a place lined up, but I found a place. This place, though, I showed Jeremy the pictures. It's Hooper gay. It is, uh, uh, it is really blue and fabulous, but it's pretty cool place, and the location is good. Um, am I 50? Not yet. 1, 2, Daniel 34. I am very close though. I am about a month away from being 50. I know I don't look a day over 50. Yes, it looks fabulous. If I do hook the place up, I will share the pictures. They're funny as hell. I'm like, hey Jeremy, because Melissa told me about the place, and it's like it used to be one of her friends. So I shot to Jeremy. I'm like, Jeremy, I might have a place, but it's I don't know, dude. And I showed him pictures, and yeah, it's, it's bad. But I'm gonna wait till if I lock it down, then I'll show it to you guys. It's bad. 50 is the new 40. Don't worry. Oh, the tech guy, I am so unworried about. I love being older. I do. Being like in the teenagers sucked. It was terrible. I don't know. It would have. I mean, I feel bad for anybody who peaked in high school. I really do. I have no desire to ever go back, and I'm a very I love, the past is I don't let the past die. I like to remember the past. I had a lot of good friends. I had a lot of good times. And made a lot of mistakes, but I like moving forward and getting old. Now, ask me again when I'm 60, I might have might be a different story, but right now, feeling great, feeling great. Time to retire. Well, this is kind of retirement. I mean, this is not hard. It can be a pain in the ass sometimes, but YouTubing is not hard. Uh, so you're staying in that part of San Diego, Matt Joseph. Well, I used to live in that part of San Diego, Matt. I used to live in Hillcrest. Hillcrest is the fabulous part of town. Um, but it's not in Hillcrest. No, it's actually by the beach. It's actually by the beach. That's why I want to kind of it still costs money though. That's the thing. It costs a couple bucks. But it's cheaper than a ratty hotel room in San Diego near Con. It's a lot cheaper. I think what was the average hotel room price in downtown right now? It's like $500, and that's if you booked like a year ago. Like they're all gone. There's no hotel rooms left. All the hotel rooms are gone. That's the biggest problem that Con has. That's why Con is always threatening to leave because as the casino owners in Vegas run that town, in San Diego, the town is run by the hotel owners. Is completely their biggest industry is tourism. They don't need Comic Con. They can fill up all those hotel rooms uh, whether Comic Con is there or not. They actually lose money on Comic Con because they have group deals, and the nerds go down there. One guy gets a room and 20 people sleep in one room, and they hate that. They hate that. So if Comic Con does leave San Diego, it's because of the hotel owners, and they were a huge part of the Chargers leaving. So I hate the hotel owners, but the city of San Diego is run by a bunch of schmucks too. So excellent charity choices. Rescue dogs are wonderful. Daisy Blossom Barrett, $60. Thank you so much. Rescue dogs are the best. Um, so my dog Parker was wandering the streets of Modesto, California, and she nobody wanted to adopt her because she's a little rough to walk, and she really goes after other dogs. But if you bring dogs home to her and she gets used to them, she's totally cool. And she's a big old softy. And after the fireworks, um, she just it takes her a couple. She has like dog PTSD, something bad, very bad happened to her. So when she hears fireworks, she will find a desk to crawl under or a closet to find or something. We have trouble finding her sometimes. And she's like, yeah, she's a flight risk. And I'm pretty sure that's how she got away. She probably got scared by some fireworks. And yeah, so she requires a little extra care, but worth it. Great dog. So she's part something, part chocolate lab. Robert Stark. A Stark is in the house for £9.99. I'm dead. Heard Shaft could have helped. R. Stark. Yes, Shaft. Shaft. Thank you. Stark. Thank you, Robert Stark. Have fun being dead. I'm very sorry what happened to you, Rob. The Rookie Critic for $5. Having just started Game of Thrones recently, I love this style of storytelling. It's not a monster or villain or mystery of the week. It seems like a long story. Yes, that's why so many people loved it. It was fantastic storytelling. It's everything you want out of a television show. It just, the creators of the show got tired of doing the show. And instead of going, we're tired, bringing on help, keeping your name on it, and just having somebody else do it who's more invigorated. And listen, why is the Star Wars original trilogy still debated today? Why do people even care about it? Why did Disney waste a bunch of money and then completely ignore the good parts of the story? Why is it still relevant? Because George Lucas, the nerd gods were looking kindly on him and removed him from his own story. He didn't like nor want to direct the next two. He was having marital problems, and he was not that involved in Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back doesn't happen. Star Wars is just known as a classic movie. Nobody gives a crap that much about it today. Empire Strikes Back happened. We got this completely different sequel because he was not as involved. Irving Kershner was a decent director, but Gary Kurtz was the man behind that. Gary Kurtz goes away, you see what Lucas is. And that's why listen, is Star Wars is the first, and I know it's many people's favorite movie, but Empire is why Star Wars is taken seriously, why people still debate it today, and there honestly hasn't any Star Wars after that has been, Jedi is half a great movie and half a horrible movie, objectively. And then after that, there's great comics, there's good games, but outside of that, no, it's not very good. It's not very good because he wasn't involved in his own damn work. So, we had somebody who was invigorated into the story. And we had the Gary Kurtz. What Dan and Dave needed was their Gary Kurtz to come in and save them because they had a great idea. They were doing great. And then they either started believing they were so great that they didn't need to write dialogue anymore. But there's a couple of good videos out there that kind of explain, the dialogue. The dialogue dies by the end of the show. It's because they have less of it to rely on. This big old book right here, trying to think how many battles are in it. Actual battles. There's some skirmishes. Nope, that's not a battle. Well, yeah, there's some battles. There's the taking of Mount Caelan. Well, that's when, but we don't see much of that. There's Asha Greyjoy taking on Stannis' army. Yeah, there's no major battles in this book. Not like, epic like Lord of the Rings battles. Still very entertaining. I know some people out there will debate me on that and say no, but I like it a lot. There's a lot of sitting around and talking, but within each chapter, as much as you like the storytelling, Rookie Critic, what they used to be able to do was adapt the book. And in the book, you would have a chapter, you're in somebody's head. You're in Tyrion's head, you're in Davos's head. But within that chapter, you get another story that somebody's always telling another story. So in that Davos chapter I just read you, he's talking in the beginning of it, he's talking to Garth, the jailer. And Garth is telling him that he's in the Wolf's Den. And the Wolf's Den has actually, that jail has been there longer than the castle, and it used to belong to the Starks. And then it was taken by the Iron Men. And he'll tell a whole story that relates to the one you're reading and foreshadows something else. Not very many people on the planet can do that. So, that's why his books take a long time, and that's why I was patient for like 6 or 7 years. All right, back to this. Sorry. Well, as someone from New Jersey, you are Gary, never Gary. Thank you, Mech 1164, and welcome. We love people from Jersey. Even Ethan Van Skyver. Just kidding. Ethan's awesome. Tito's Worlds. You know what? I never talked to Ethan. Maybe Ethan doesn't like me. I don't know. But I like him. I need to have him on sometime. I'd love to pick his brain about comics uh, and what's happened to our beloved industry. I know I haven't talked about it a lot. I tweeted about it today. The sales are bleeding cool. By the way, read Bleeding Fool, but I will refer to Bleeding Cool. But definitely read Bleeding Fool. It's a much better site. Good people over there, and occasionally I write for them when they want me to. They talked about comic sales again, and they're down another 5% off of last year, which was uh, down some more. So they're down from being down. You're the best, Gary. Thumbs up. Thank you, Tito's World, for $2. You're the best too. Thank you, Mech 1164, and the Rookie Critic, the heart and soul of the Fandom Menace. Please subscribe to the Rookie Critic, by the way. This name, Sack Dangler, Mr. Sack Dangler. Mr. Dangler, can you tell us where you were the evening of the 5th? And of course, the answer is I can't remember. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to watch Nick Ricada or EVS's video or Tug's video on Ronald. Is it Ron Ron Soye's deposition from the other beard, the lawyer beard guy. He's got a decent beard. I mean, it's decent, and a lot more knowledge of actual law because he's a lawyer. But I have a lot of experience with lawyers, like tons, like more than I care to admit. I have been in so many courtrooms. I tell you, I should be one. Yeah. So yeah, Thai beard is not a dump truck. I'll tell you that right now. Sack Dangler for £5. Here's a tiny £5 coin to help you support the charities. By the way, I am done with George R. R. Martin, and anything he creates, he's not getting a second chance. He's had plenty of time, and what worries me, Sack, is you know what? I'll read this article in a few minutes. There's an old article that flew under a lot of people's radars, but he's talking about the Silmarillion. I got to say it slowly, and how that was J.R. Tolkien's great work, and he never finished it. I disagree wholeheartedly. I know Tolkien was constantly working on it and had intended to finish a lot of things, but he didn't. But I think even Tolkien would admit, at the end of his life, that the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings were his definitive work. Okay, his definitive work, we'll say. Maybe he wanted to do much more, but he didn't. So within that rationalization, George R. R. Martin says, a lot of people, intended to finish work and didn't. I intend to finish A Song of Ice and Fire, but I'm okay if I don't. Which tells me he's not gonna. So it's hard for me to recommend the books when people even ask. It's like, if you're okay with reading an unfinished story that will probably get finished by somebody else and not nearly as well. Forever Sci-Fi, $9.99. Here's some money I was originally going to put towards movies before I changed my mind with all the garbage that they've been putting out. Doggos have more love for us. They do. More love, more loyalty, more creativity than what we're getting from Hollywood right now. How cheesy was it that they put a freaking dog in the Picard poster? And that was market research. They went, John Wick has a dog. People love John Wick. Let's give Picard a doggo. Genius. Kurtzman, I mean, like, you can see through. The dude is a poser. He's a freaking poser. For some reason, he's good at talking his way in with companies and BSing people who own franchises, but he's a poser. He has not done anything good. Like, go look at his IMDb. Even the stuff he's attached to, it's like halfway decent, and he wasn't in charge of it. He was like a screenwriter. He wrote a script for Fringe. He wrote and directed The Mummy, which is widely considered one of the worst films of all time. He destroyed a Spider-Man franchise, which you have to actually try to do. But he's trying to outdo himself by putting Star Trek into the dirt forever. And now he's going to desecrate the great Jean-Luc Picard and Star Trek The Next Generation. Also widely considered one of the worst, that they put a freaking dog in the Picard poster. And you know that was market research. You know they went, John Wick has a dog. People love John Wick. Let's give Picard a doggo. Genius. Kurtzman, I mean, like, you can see through. The dude is a poser. He's a freaking poser. For some reason, he's good at talking his way in with companies. To watch a Robert Meyer Burnett stream to notice that they got the delta. The delta's wrong too. The badge is wrong in one of the posters too. Why? Well, I know the answer why. I just want y'all to answer. I want you all those people who are the licensee. I'll use their own language against them. You are a licensee denier. You're a licensee denier. The answer is they can't use it. They can't use the Next Generation font because it belongs to Paramount. They aren't back together yet. So I think this proves that they had to probably make a deal to even get Picard. And that's why you're not going to see any of the other Next Generation actors, because of the license. Let's all stay it together. The license. Hey, but you know what? I feel like I made the big time because a German sci-fi website wrote a fake news article about me because I'm passing on a rumor that I heard that I'm fake news. Whatever. Sure. Okay. My opinion is fake news. Modius for $1. Thank you for $1. I appreciate it. That will go to the doggo and to some drunks and to sweet Emily Clark's charity. Am I being patronizing by calling her sweet? Is that bad now? Can I not do that? Can I not say a female is nice? Is that talking down to her in some way? The Dr. 14 Blu-ray reviews, who always has something funny to super chat. I do appreciate 5 pounds. Gary, Gavin and Stacy's Xmas special has started filming in Barry Island, and it's not woke. Who's Gavin and Stacy? Gavin Rosdale? Gavin Newsom? He's the governor of California. Used to be the mayor. He slept with his best friend's wife, who was his campaign manager while he was. I bet you a lot of people don't know. When he runs for president, I want you all to remember that Gavin Newsom slept with his best friend's wife, who was and his best friend was his campaign manager during his reelection of the mayor of San Francisco. Nice guy. Nice guy. Gavin and Stacy. Yeah, I probably should know this, but I'm going to look it up. Hang on just a second. Gavin and Stacy. Is it a show? Oh, it's the James Corden show. It's a British sitcom that aired its final episode on Christmas of 2019. So is it going to have one more? Well, I hope it's not woke for you, Dr. Blu-ray Reviews. I would love for the BBC not to be woke anymore, because then I could watch their shows, which I used to watch the hell out of. I used to love the BBC. As a matter of fact, it wasn't long ago where I was on this podcast going, the BBC is like the best for entertainment, and Sherlock and freaking Doctor Who. And that's my impression of myself. And yeah, it's not anymore. It sucks. Donkey balls. And that is for The Expanse, which I'm very concerned does not have a panel at Comic-Con yet, but I'm going to check that real quick while I'm trying to waste time while I try to get back, because I lost my place in the super chat. You know what? I'm going to go to the chat. Let's go to the chat. How is everybody? What's up? Dalek balls. Dalek balls. Yes. Well, Daleks have tentacles. So if you're into tentacle porn, you like Daleks. Hello from Cracklin. What's up? I'm in here in the chat. Mahler, what's up, dude? You want to come on? How long you been in here? You know how I roll? Hang on. Let me get my headphones on. Very Welsh program. It is. Well, you know what they say about the Welsh, Mueller. I don't know what do they say about the Welsh? Why do the Welsh get so much shit? Is it the Welsh that get a lot of shit there? I mean, do you deserve it? I mean, if you deserve it, I got you. Hang on, let me go to Twitter. Miss of 2019. So is it going to have one more? Well, I hope it's not woke for you, Dr. Blu-ray Reviews. I would love for the BBC not to be woke anymore because then I could watch their shows, which I used to watch the hell out of. I used to love the BBC. As a matter of fact, it wasn't long ago where I was on this podcast going, the BBC is like the best for entertainment, and Sherlock and freaking Doctor Who. And that's my impression of myself. And yeah, it's not anymore. It sucks. Donkey balls. And that is for The Expanse, which I'm. Welcome back to Nerdrotic Live. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com. Very concerned does not have a panel at Comic-Con yet, but I'm going to check that real quick. He's like the best friend. Your Game of Thrones video, right? I mean, that'll come out, 2020? Just giving you shit, dude. I'm just giving you shit. Where there you go. Boom. And boom. There you go. If you want to come on, come the fuck on. Let me close out some windows and I'm going to read some more chat here and go to you fine people, even the Welsh. I'm going to say even the Welsh. Hail Doomcock. Yes, hail Doomcock.
2020?
I'm just.
Why do you think I would be that fast?
Oh, okay. 2021. Hey, it's a race between you and the second ride of Galaxy's Edge. We'll see who's.
I mean, I'm getting George R. R. Martin memes in my community now. They're like, you'll never finish it.
Yeah, that is a good point. Who are we going to get wins a winner, or are we going to get Mahler's next video? I am chomping at the bit. But you know what, dude? You know what ends up in my recommended field? And I mean on every single video I watch is your Captain Marvel video. How many other people get that? I
don't know why that is. I honestly don't know why that is.
I'm watching UFO videos and like I'll watch 3 in a row and all of a sudden all the UFO videos and then it's like UFO, Mahler, Unbridled Rage, UFO. I'm like, God damn.
It's my most viewed video. And that doesn't make any sense to me because you'd think it would be Star Wars, wouldn't you? It's like, how did
I think YouTube secretly doesn't like Brie Larson or Captain Marvel, or they like your take on it. Yes, Mahler is definitely faster than George R. R. Martin. Yes, he is.
Well, and not to mention that I'll just I had someone PM me the other day like, when's your video coming? Just a friend of mine. Then I just sent him a screenshot of the timeline right now. I was like, it's coming. There's proof right here. It's coming. It's just it takes a long time. I've got 16 minutes of video complete now. This is the part of the process where the video actually gets completed. Is that we're well past scripting and redrafting and recording and audio editing and getting everything in line. Now it's just visuals, and as soon as you link in those visuals, just give it a watch through, and you're like, oh yeah, that could actually be released now. So we're getting there. I estimate another month, maybe just under. It's going to be a long video, but it's basically just me talking about how Game of Thrones is dead.
It's very dead. And I was just asking early in the chat if anybody even gives a crap about the prequel. And I don't think HBO does because they haven't ordered it to series. And I think if Game of Thrones had ended properly, we'll say, even if more than half of the fans, I would never think all the fans would have been satisfied. But if they would have delivered a decent ending, I think they would be all gung-ho for a prequel. And now it's like, they're kind of, I don't know. And actually, they might secretly be happy because it was so expensive anyway. And they just did the deal with AT&T. They got their HBO Max coming. Yeah, I don't know.
How's your Buffy watch through coming?
It's going good. I actually rewatched some of season 2 because I like it so much. So I went back to episode 15, surprise, and watched it back through again because I loved it so much. It's so freaking good when Angel goes bad. Just right at the end of that episode where he wakes up, he's like, "Oh, Buffy," and then turns evil. It was pretty good.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Spoilers for anybody who hasn't watched Buffy in
Spoilers for 1998. Or, yeah, that is what it was.
1998. Yeah. But I've also been, what have I else I've been watching? A lot of old Doctor Who. And I've actually, yeah, I was reading this. I've been reading that quite a bit too, just to get the bad taste out of my mouth. But yeah, your damn video pops up everywhere. It's great. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, there is something to do with Brie Larson and Captain Marvel on YouTube. I don't know what it is, but apparently it affected my channel as well.
There is something, but it's all going to fire back up again in about what's the Marvel Hall H panel is a week from tomorrow, or yeah, a week from tomorrow, guys.
I can't believe that D&D are going onto a panel.
Yeah.
Do they think that's wise?
They might feel safe at Comic-Con. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a smattering of boos, but Comic-Con fans are generally pretty friendly. I mean,
if they're able to take questions, I think the worst they'll probably get is still going to be like, what do you think of the backlash you guys received? Not that your show's bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just curious what you think of people saying that might be the case.
Yes.
Like,
they might get asked that. I've seen like awkward questions get asked before very nicely. That's the best way to do it too. I mean,
Yeah.
like you have to get it in there all, oh, big fan. Yeah. Why did you suck? Something
Why
like that.
did you murder all my characters?
Yeah, well, exactly. Like Jon Snow. I was just going over that. Oh, so many decisions were made that's just rereading this book, and there's I'd say about 7 or 8 characters they could have put in the show instead. The show got small at the end. I'm sure you all noticed that by the time we were at King's Landing and Daenerys took over King's Landing, it looked like she took over a set. It didn't feel like King's Landing anymore. God, I can't think of the term for it, but the buying into what you're watching, basically, that all that was gone. Suspension of disbelief was gone. It just felt fake and dumb and small. And that the show, even in its earliest setting, at least it felt like to me like a full world. It felt like every detail was covered, and I felt immersed in it. And by the end, it just looked like a bad green screen. So
yeah, I mean, if you go like to episode 1 and just go through the scenes one by one, it's like, oh, you're in King's Landing, you're at the Wall, you're at Essos, you're at a different part of King's Landing, and it's like you're in the Weirwood Forest of Winterfell, then you're back over it, blah blah, and it's like you're not even halfway through the episode, and it's like, wow, this world is so much stuff.
And then there's nothing. And then there was just people not talking, walking up slowly. Yeah, not my King's Landing. It was
They really liked the Dragonstone set, didn't they? They liked using that a lot.
They did, and it's not that important. It's off the beaten path. I can't even see her being there that long, even if they do show up there. I mean, like it's just a landing spot. But the set was beautiful. It was, sure. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's people are happy you're here. What's up, Tom from Midnight's Edge? Thanks for popping in. I mean, you don't have to stay forever. Are you working on a video right now, or are you just chilling?
Who, me now?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I am collecting, so like as I talk to you, I can't do audio editing, but I can look through episodes and catch all like more iconic reactions and then snip them out so I can use them later.
That must take time.
Oh, it does. The best one, the collection I have, is the Star Wars ones. I've been doing that for so long. I've got like a huge backlog of all these collected and fun ones, especially Luke drinking the old milk.
Yes.
Never get tired of that one.
Yeah, that's the one. When I'm worried because that's what I'm doing my Star Trek video. I'm going to use footage. This is the first time I'm using footage in anything. I'm worried I'm going to get nailed, but if I do, so be it. I need to get it out.
Rule of thumb: stay below 8 seconds.
8 seconds.
It used to be 10, and then I got snapped for 9. So I was like, okay, I guess it's below 8 then until that stops working.
Okay. But that's within fair use. All right.
Typically, yeah, that's what I've found. But there are some. This is the really annoying part. When I need a proof, I need to show the audience that this is what a character said, and they have one straight piece of dialogue that lasts 12 seconds. I have to start using some editing techniques. was thinking of doing a video on this to explain what takes me so long, but basically, like, I would share the screen with you if it wasn't like potentially going to screw everything up. But you know, when Jamie first basically admits that killing the Mad King was actually an altruistic move, and that since then, thanks to Ned Stark, he's been completely like misrepresented and he's tired of it. That whole scene, I want to play the whole thing when I'm talking about Jamie's character, but I can't. So I cut it so that we only have as much as 8 seconds of any piece of audio, and then I snip out basically every shot of the scene and change it all. So that, say, for example, we're supposed to have a shot where 9 seconds of a character's face talking. I will, at 4 seconds in, show the reaction shot of some other character for 2 seconds, and then go back so that it's chopped up, so that YouTube doesn't go, "Hey, using 9 seconds of a thing." It's like, oh, it's only 4 seconds, 2 seconds, and 4 seconds. That's fine.
Yeah.
It takes ages, but it allows me
Yes.
to have clips that are, how long is this Jamie one I've got? Yes, 1 minute I've got of Jamie talking, and I've edited it so it's supposed to feel to the audience that it's uninterrupted and it actually is the scene. It takes ages and it's really annoying,
It
but it makes for an
does.
immersive video, hopefully.
No, I had to, in the professional editing I was doing, I had to do that because we had in the show I was working on, they had an audio piece that they wanted, but they
Mm.
didn't have all the video. So I had to do something very similar. I had to find a reaction shot from the character that didn't exist. So I had to go through B footage of this character of a neck shot so I can try to find a neck shot just to put in like a second to throw in there to go like that. And yeah, I found one. I found one because it was such a generic show. It was put together. It was House, by the way. It was put
Mm.
together, and I found Olivia Wilde's character looking like that, and just used it. And there you go. You have to do that crap all the time. But for my own stuff, I
It's
mean,
good practice for editing as
it
well.
is.
Like, my videos wouldn't look very much like they do now if not for how YouTube's copyright works. It's the copyright is partially defined how my work is made, which is interesting to think about.
That is interesting to think about. But it is like your own thing. I mean, it's and it yeah, you should it's kind of your
Well, it's like,
content.
you know, it's the answer's always so mundane. So it's like, how do you get all these reactions that work so well? I'm like, oh, I troll through basically all of the footage, I grab them all up, and then when I get to a line where I say that's utterly ridiculous, I'll look through several reaction shots until I find one that kind of matches it, and then I'm like, test it on a friend, and they're like, it's not that great, and I just find another one. I'm like, oh, perfect.
Very Concerned does not have a panel at Comic.
I've got, and I'm like, yeah, there you go, it works perfectly. And it's satisfying to watch then as a viewer. You're like, I like that. Just
Yeah.
even for that little moment.
I'd be happy with your Tywin reaction the whole way through. That one's the best.
Oh yeah,
That one
he's
and the of course
my spirit animal for episode 3.
yes. Uh Robert Stark for $12 or £12 34 says Game of Thrones ghosts like your new shows. Super Suede is probably from Sweden and feels super. So, yeah, I got you, Rob Stark. Thank you, Rob Stark. Again, I'm sorry you're dead. Um,
Yeah.
Dr. Venkman asks, "Are we going to Area 51?" No. I. It kind of sounds like a fun. You've heard about this, right? The
Yeah,
whole.
I have.
Yeah. I just. It's in September.
Are they expecting people to get hurt? Because that doesn't sound great if that's the case.
I think they'll do something like close the road because there's a
Hmm.
big road that leads out to it, and I mean, like you want to talk about the ultimate troll of all time. All the government has to do is shut down that road, and you are not getting there. Good luck trying the dirt way because you can't. And then there's a mountain on the other side. So yeah, my guess
Throw a
is
parachute in.
yeah, exactly. Unless you're going to parachute in, the road will get closed. Or you, because it's so far away from the main. I don't know what like are they? What is it to rush Area 51? Actually, just rush in?
I thought that was the idea. Is like they can't shoot all of us. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
They
they
probably
can.
can though.
Yeah. Honestly, all it would take was one.
Have
If they
have you seen Chernobyl yet?
I haven't seen it all the way through. It's
Oh well,
quite
because
good though.
there's a scene in that show where there's like, let's say 20 guys and they're faced with 2 guys with guns, and they say something like, "You won't be able to shoot us all." And I remember I was watching with Wolf, and I was like, "Yeah, they could." It's 20 dudes, two AK-47s. I'm pretty sure you could mow them all down.
You can mow most of them down with one. Yeah. Um, yeah, I think considering if it's a bunch of millennials flooding Area 51, it would take a shot in the air, and I think that would do it. But I wouldn't test
Yeah.
that. I wouldn't test that because what they'd probably do is catch a couple of you, a few
Mm.
of you, and make firm examples of you. So, I
Make
mean, if you
sure it
want to
never
take that
happens again.
lottery, that's fine. But no, I wouldn't rush it. I have no desire especially considering my background. I would get in a lot more trouble than the average person because of the little thing called priors that I don't want to mess with. I won't get into details, but I'm sure many of you can guess what the priors are. Priors are bad. Uh,
Hmm.
you don't want to get any new things on your priors. The official Dougie J, Mahler, the official Dougie J is my oldest and dearest friend. We were little nerds together watching
Oh,
Planet of the Apes and Star Trek. Yeah, and recording fake radio shows on cassette tapes. We were dorky while listening to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. First time we hung out at my house listening to the Flash Gordon soundtrack. This is a super chat. Here we are almost 40 years later. Good times for